Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of These Corona Times. You are here with Tiffany and Dr. Simone and, my, and our friend Brandon.
Oh, what's going on, folks?
You said our friend Brandon, like he's just,
He's our friend.
I'm a random person.
Yeah, he's just a random. He's our friend. Brandon in his Giorgio Armani glasses.
Well,
He's seeing everything so much more clearly now.
Oh, clearly.
HD, I can see right through you.
Whoa, 1 minute. Oh
Whoa.
my goodness.
Well, welcome back. This is episode 21 for us. Very excited about this one. This came from I don't know if I say fan or one of our watchers suggested this to us a while ago, talking about how to debate online. So we're going to talk about debating online in these Corona times. And let me tell y'all, this episode is for me. It's about me. I'm going to pull up a chair and I'm just going to sit and
all about you, Tiff.
It's all about you.
Well, before we get into any of that, we want to just say thank you all so much for rocking with us for 21 of them episodes. We want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. Last week's discussion was wonderful. Thank you guys for tuning in to the watch party and commenting and sharing. We just love to see you all's interactions. And again, this one's inspired by one of our watchers. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys want to see, what you want to talk about. Again, we are here for as long as Corona will have us. So while we are here together, we might as well talk about stuff that y'all want to talk about. So just please continue to follow us. We are on YouTube at These Corona Times. We're on Facebook at These Corona Times. And again, like and share and comment and just continue to spread the love about These Corona Times. Maybe we'll have something special coming up in a few weeks. Something by the way of
maybe. No, don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
I'm not putting it out there.
Don't jinx.
But you're right, Tiff. Every week, I think before this, I got a notification that we had one new like or one new viewer or something like that.
Yep.
So it's steadily growing, and I'm just shocked. When we first started this, we didn't know how long we'd be doing this, but 21 episodes. That's kind of unheard of.
That's like 4 or 5 months deep.
Yeah. We're deep in there.
Yeah.
And realize this is in conjunction with the work that we already do.
Yes.
Not to say that this is like, oh my God, we're so busy, we don't have time for Corona times, but we all have, lives to lead, have families and things of that nature. But I think we can all agree, and I think we said it on our self-care episode, that these Corona times is a wonderful addition and a great self-care tool during this time of COVID where we don't get to interact with each other face to face. It's nice that I know I can come together every week and talk to my friends and just kind of share what's been going on. Yeah.
Yep.
So in that way, because this is self-care, how did you all do with you all self-care this week?
Well, we had to be reminded of what they were.
Well, I can go first because I know mine was reading more and not working late. Okay. So I did read more. I'm deep into, I keep calling that Trump book, the Mary Trump book, something about how they created the most dangerous man or whatever, some crazy long title. But I am 7 chapters in and it's been really good. On the other hand, though, I have not been doing a good job with working late. I may or may not have found myself in the office this weekend. That may or may not have happened. And also just during the week. There's so much stuff to do. As I said in the polos, because I secretly hate myself, I signed on for things that I probably didn't need to do. So that's how I did.
Me, I did pretty good. Still doing some reading here and there. I'm on like chapter 19, 20 in the book of Acts and doing well with that. Yeah, moving along. Also doing a little bit of, it's going to be random, doing a little bit of theological studies. I know. Say what again?
Trying to get in that pulpit.
I am not trying to get into the pulpit, but
Brandon's a walking concordance.
I am not. But I am learning the difference in what exclusivism is, inclusivism, pluralism, and universalism. Those are like some religious terms. One, basically, exclusivism is, not to get off on a real big tangent, but exclusivism is basically you believe straight up that Jesus is the only way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're not going to be saved. There is inclusivism, which believes that Jesus Christ is a way for salvation, but it doesn't neglect that somebody could find another way to salvation through other means. Then there's your pluralism, which you believe that, yeah, anybody could be saved, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Hindu, whether you're blah, 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 blah. And then universalism is basically you believe that Jesus' death on the cross was so big and powerful that everybody is saved no matter what. So it's actually some pretty cool study. I've been listening to a lot of stuff on YouTube and doing a little bit of reading on that. It's and there are different subsections in that as well. But it's been pretty cool to trying to, kind of unpack all that.
Wow. I just learned something.
Brandon taught us something.
We didn't even pay for it. That was free. Free lessons.
I knew a little bit about the gospel of inclusion because rather famous gospel artist Walter Pearson, I believe his name is. There was a movie out about him on Netflix a couple years ago, where it was talking about, he was a very prominent, I want to say Pentecostal. I don't want to get that wrong, so don't jump in the comments if I said it wrong.
I believe so. I believe you're right.
Yeah. And he suddenly, received this awakening that there's a gospel of inclusion, because he was, I guess, looking at people over in Africa and was like, I wonder how they come to Jesus. How do they find Jesus? And he lost a lot for that. So, there are some people who believe pretty heavily one way or the other. But that's interesting. I didn't know about the other two, which, when you explain them, I was thinking about where we fall.
Yeah, it was Carlton Pearson.
Carlton Pearson, thank you.
Carlton Pearson, I believe he has he was called a heretic for his beliefs. I believe he actually believes in universalism. And that's basically that no matter what, because Jesus' death was so powerful and was just so big, and one word that was used and what I was listening to was efficacious. Ooh, yes. It was so big and powerful that no matter what, you're going to be saved because Jesus' death was so big. So it's actually been pretty cool reading to kind of see. To me, it kind of helped see where I was in some of the questions that I had, and helps me to be a little more comforted in my belief system.
Can we just stop right here and say that, Brandon, you are your father with the studies that you're having, that you are having, and the words that you're using? Okay, because your dad out with these $200 words. I mean,
I didn't use the word that was used in.
Sure it was.
Whatever.
So when should we dust off that pulpit for you, sir? When is it going to be ready?
No, they're not going to want me in the pulpit. Trust me.
Well, you know what? I know we're getting off of where we're supposed to go, but you don't need a pulpit anymore to have church. If you got a word, I've been seeing a lot of people. That's one of the. They're not many, but I'll say some of the blessings of COVID, where people are taking their camera and they're preaching. Whatever God is giving you to say. Use your platform, and if you have a camera, if you have a channel, you have a page, use that. You don't need a pulpit to preach anything anymore. That might be the biggest blessing, because there are a lot of folks who are great preachers that are not necessarily pastors or ministers. So don't let that stop you from speaking a word, Brandon.
But I will.
No, I mean, hey, people who watch this will, I'm sure, learn something and maybe be blessed by what you shared, because there's a lot. I mean, it's interesting we're talking about this because we have an episode coming up where we're going to talk a little bit more about the church and things of that nature. So I think this is just solidifies that we need to do that. So go ahead.
No, well,
what?
I should have let Brandon go last, because now I feel like my self-care is minimal compared to what Brandon did.
Oh, you ain't with yet? Girl, I forgot.
No.
Sorry, because Brandon was giving definitions. He was
I know.
teaching.
And my friend was passed me over. I didn't do nothing.
My bad. Which is good for you. It's so good for you.
Yes, it's a blessing. Whenever I can get in the bed before 2, it's good. But I know some people can't function like that, but I'm all right with it. Also, I'm married to a vampire, so there are no actors here in this house. So whenever you go to sleep, you go to sleep. But yeah, I got in the bed early. 12:30 actually. I think I reported on the polos a few nights. I'm going to bed, guys. It's 12:30. I was in the bed and probably sleep before 1, so that's always good for me. Although I can sleep for hours and hours, so it's never enough rest. But going to bed early is a help. It's a start.
Never enough.
Yes.
Simone, I don't know how y'all do it.
Move on. Now, Simone.
I'm sorry. Brandon just was going so deep. I just forgot.
He educated us. I know.
So this week we are acknowledging our friend, Dr. David King of King Dental. And King Dental is located in Huntsville, Alabama. King Dental provides gentle, compassionate, modern dentistry to friends and neighbors in Huntsville and the surrounding communities. Dr. King offers an array of services to meet the needs of your whole family, whether you need routine preventive care, emergency treatments like root canal therapy or extractions, or advanced dentistry like dental implants. He has the skills and experience to help you have a healthy smile. And it's for the entire family. And the website is drkingdentistry.com. And David and his wonderful wife, Megan, they used to go to church with us in Louisville, Kentucky. Back in the day, he went to University of Louisville. And so we definitely wanted to shout out his wonderful practice. So there you go.
Dr. King, if he was in Louisville, he would be my dentist. Yes. That's how much I trust him, and talking with him, I feel very comfortable with him. And when I go to Huntsville, because I used to go fairly regularly, I would try to schedule with him, but he was just so booked up. Yeah, booked and busy. So he is, if you're in the surrounding areas of, Huntsville, I think Athens or wherever, definitely holler at King Dental.
Yes, and his wife needs to be, go ahead, Tiff.
I was going to say, we hope that he expands and, maybe King Dental could be in Louisville. King Dental could be in North Carolina, plant them everywhere.
I was just saying Megan needs to have her some kind of, what do you call it, crafting or creating, whatever. She's so creative and puts me to shame with all of my NTI pursuits. I'm like, I'm doing something good. And I'm looking like, Megan created a whole classroom. Okay.
I'm not doing something good.
So I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
We've built a virtual classroom in a weekend. We're just all behind. I can't keep up with it.
Absolutely.
But they're great. And I know we were thinking about who to highlight this week. We chose King Dental and David, not just because he's a friend of ours, but because we've all recently had dental appointments. So, we will just use this as a good time to remind you guys, because sometimes this is an area where folks of color don't really go get that done. We don't get our teeth checked on. Brandon's the one, because we've been.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so upset.
I know.
But, that's a place where we don't always go get checked up on. We don't see about our teeth as much as we should. So the fact that we all had appointments recently, and then we know a great dentist, we wanted to make sure we put that before you guys. I know many places are starting to open up and have appointments again. So if you have not done so, it's a good time to go get those teeth checked on, friends.
Yes.
Every 6 months.
Now, Brandon?
Now.
Hey, yes. I'm trying to help the folks out. Let's not.
Brandon, please use your clean mouth to orient us to the topic.
All right. So as Tiff was saying earlier, we're talking about debating online. I've done it. We've all done it. We have seen something on somebody's Facebook status that we just couldn't let go. We have seen a comment on somebody's feed that we just couldn't let slide. We saw a picture that we could not ignore. And we had to comment. And in the comment, somebody else wrote something under that and said, well, what about blah, 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 blah. And then, because we're not going to be checked, we're not going to let them have the last word, we keep going. And then what happens after that? They keep going.
When does it stop?
It never stops.
It never stops. It never stops. It never
and I'm
stops.
here for it. I'm like, ooh.
And it can be juicy. It could be, what's one of the words? Salacious?
Spicy.
Spicy. And it just be like, ooh, you said what? Ooh. And it's just, we all take a part in it some way, shape, or form. So you wanted to, and I believe, like Tiff said, this was one from one of our viewers that did a plug for this or asked, well, something like this, and it just kind of made me think about what I do, and I'd be looking, I'd be like, do I got time? Yeah, I got time. Type. Do all this, and I'm on it. So we wanted to kind of just talk about how that impacts us, and does it really have a point? Do we even learn anything from it? Like, why do we even do it in the first place? So for the next half hour or so, that's what we're going to be talking about.
And I want to
go ahead.
You sure?
I was just gonna say, let me go first because I don't do it like you all do it. I am not I'm gonna say offender. Now, so, I mean, I can comment on you all, so I've watched you all go back and forth. I am one that if I see something, I will text the person after, like not after, but on the side, which we call calling in as opposed to calling out, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I don't engage in that way. I think I did it twice and my pressures went up. And so I was like, nah, I can't do it.
So I feel like I used to get more out of it. I mean, because I won't say that I recently just started debating people online. I'm always the proponent of, I think, conversation and communication help bring about some sort of change. You know, it doesn't always have to be changed my way. It could be changed other person's way or just seeing it from another person's point of view. So I kind of welcome conversation. I don't mind it. I don't mind arguing points as long as we can be respectful of each other. So I felt like before, I guess maybe this year, I feel like I would at least have more fluent or coherent conversations in the debates online, or maybe I would even learn something, or the person that I'm talking to would get something out of what I was saying. Now I feel like it's just tit for tat. It's just like, oh, well, you said this, I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna get a zinger in back at you, and you know, oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, okay, how about all lives matter? You know, it just keeps going on and on and on. And at some point, I don't feel like anything is learned. It's almost like how trying to outdo the other person, either by way of like slander or just like cold zingers, or it's like facts aren't even important at this point, you know, because that's probably why I keep getting sucked in, because when I see stuff, and granted, these are mostly people I don't know, and I hope we talk about that a little bit more down the line, like when you interact with people who are just complete strangers as opposed to people you actually know and communicate with. When I start interacting with them, it's like the facts are before you. Like, why are you just refuse to look at them? I don't understand. I feel like Kamala last week was like, no, the facts, sir, the facts. And nobody wants to look at the facts. So then I want to be the fact checker. But then there's no point in that, because that person probably hasn't gone beyond the headline or the image that has sparked the conversation or whatever, and is probably not interested in learning anything. They just want to say what they got to say and move on. So it's become very frustrating to debate online, so much so that it's been my self-care to not go down the rabbit hole of debating with people several times.
Listen, I love a good debate, man. I love it. I don't do it as much because I'm a little bit busier. And when I debate, I go all in. And it could be about anything. It could be about who's the best basketball player of all time, LeBron. It could be, you know, one of the topics I've been, you know, going back and forth. People is renting versus owning a home. And, you know, just going back and forth on a lot of things, patriarchy and whatever. And if you catch me at the right time, I'm going to go.
So do you all think that the online, you know, communication and discourse is indicative of the current climate that we live in? Do you think it mimics it? Because there's a lot of divisiveness online, and I just feel like it's mimicking what's going on. So yeah, I'll put that out there. But I have another comment, but yeah, what do y'all think?
I have never seen more racism political commentary, gender commentary than I have seen in the last 6 to 7 months. Brennan said he got time. Everybody got time. Everybody seems to have time. And I do feel like it's more of the same. You know, I used to go to social media as a form of escape.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you know, I'm going to check all cute pictures and, you know, what do they
like
do?
To my status.
Yeah,
whatever.
that kind of stuff. And now it's like, what argument we getting in today, folks?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, you know, concurrent with what's happening on the news. So, you know, when the debate was on, there were debate conversations. And that's part of social media, right? You're supposed to kind of live. I know Simone always said she doesn't understand Twitter, but that's one of the joys of Twitter is you can live tweet as you watch stuff with people. So that's one of the things is you're supposed to engage with people online as you're watching stuff across the world. That's one of the cool parts of it. But now it's just more of, it's an argument. It's like, who won? Why did they win? And what are the reasons? You know, it just doesn't seem like escape anymore. It just seems like more of the same. When I turn off the TV and pick up my phone, it's like I never left. I'm just still in the situation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think that some people have different motivations. Like we were saying, I think specifically, Tiff, you were saying, like, I want to learn something. I want to have a conversation to just understand differences. I don't want to argue and fight. But there's a difference between wanting to do that and then just wanting to get back at somebody and be mean and evil and name call. And I feel like, especially with, for example, some of the comments under some of the live streams about Breonna Taylor, I mean, you just had people saying some nasty things that were not based in any fact. It's like, where did you read that?
Yeah.
You know,
it was ugly stuff. It's ugly.
It was ugly. And I mean, that's a whole nother conversation about where people get their information from, because I think when you look at certain things and that sets up your algorithm or whatever to show you what you want. So in that way, it's like, how are we ever all going to come together when we're kind of in our echo chambers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One that for me, it just, everybody now is a reporter, because as long as you got a phone or whatever, you can be a reporter. I think for me, while there are definite downsides, it has shown me the ugliness of folks, and it's shown me ugliness from folks who I've associated with currently and in the past. And to see some of the vitriol, you know, about, you know, Breonna Taylor and about Black Lives Matter and about, you know, police shootings, and some of the comments from people who, from total strangers, of course, you see those, but from people who you actually know, I'm like, dude, we used to go out to eat. Like, I've been to your house. My kids have played with your kids. And wow, like, you were thinking this the whole time. Wow.
Do we still have a lot of those friends? Like, I feel like I did a great deal of weeding after the election.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of
the unfriend button is strong.
It's strong.
It's real.
It got real strong. So as Simone said before, I am kind of in my own echo chamber, because for the most part, the majority of people that I correspond with online, at least politically, believe the same as I do.
And you know what? I used to be like, no, you gotta have it from both sides. But I'm like, at this stage now, I'm like, no, you don't. Like, no, you don't. You need to understand. Maybe do some reading every once in a while about, you know, what the other side, you know, the opposite of what you believe or whatever. But you don't have to mess up your peace just to do that. And that's just, nah, I'm with you. Unfriend, unfollow, whatever you gotta do to preserve your peace, man.
And that's the point, because we have to deal with those folks in our workplaces. Even if we're not going in, we still have to email with these folks, communicate with them in different ways as we're trying to negotiate how to re-enter buildings. People have different views about masks, no mask, distance. No. You got people that walk into your office and want to take their mask off. That's not okay with me, you know, and those types of things, you know, we have to deal with that in our lives, and plus being Black anyway. So I'm all for kind of, you know, limiting what I see. I don't feel the need to, I like what you said about reading here and there. You know, back in the day, I used to listen to a little Rush Limbaugh in the morning, just see what they talking about, you know. And then you turn it off quickly before my pressure starts to rise.
I agree with that. And like Simone, as you said, we have enough places we have to go where people who are on opposite sides of this, you know, thinking about the spaces you were talking about, which are still spaces of people that you know. Like these are still like, they're acquaintances. They may not be your best friends, but they're still acquaintances. Think about the spaces that we have to go in now where we don't know folks. Like, you know, we were out grocery shopping today, you know, and a lot of us now I saw a commercial the other day about how, you know, what your mask can say about you, because they're really pushing the importance of wearing your mask. I have to be mindful of where I am when I wear my mask that says Black Lives Matter. Now, I have no problem with wearing that out anywhere, but I realize I'm wearing that going to spaces where people will disagree, you know, for whatever reason. They may disagree with it, and I may get looks and stares. I may even get a comment or so. So it's like, you know, I'm already surrounding myself in some ways with people who aren't on the same page as I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why I need a safe space. And I think your Facebooks, your Twitter, your Instagrams, those are your kind of safe spaces where you're still going to get some of that outside news. It's not going to go away because, you know, you got trending topics. You still have, which is my downfall, if you follow any of your local news stations or national news stations, that's where those stories are of those people that's where my debate stuff comes in, because I'm seeing the stories posted by my local news station and the top comment is a trash comment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just terrible comment. And my standard comments have been like, I was debating real hard in the beginning, but now my standard comment is, this is why we say Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if you just look at this, and it's just sad. It's just terrible to think that there are so many people who think this way.
Absolutely.
Who think it displayed in such an ugly manner. It's just,
yeah. And you don't know who they are. You know, when you read all this stuff, you know they're out there. So when you go in a grocery store or you're, you know, at the gas station and or you're at an event and you don't know what the next person next to you, how they feel about your life, whether or not it matters or not. Like these are the things that come up for me. And also when we're debating in this way, or people are debating in this way, we're doing that oftentimes in our home, like in our home, in our bed, on our couch. We get all riled up by responding or reading it. And then how does that impact how we talk to our spouse or our children? Mm-hmm. Or how does that impact our sleep, our ability to focus on things not related to COVID or anti-Black violence or whatever? It has a real impact.
Yeah. And for me, I know when I would engage with folks regularly online, especially strangers, it was always like the clapback. You know, I would say something and I'd be like, put my phone down, I'm gonna walk away, and then come back like 20 minutes later, what they say back. What, like,
man, if they're bored, I hope they don't say nothing, boy.
You better not say nothing else. No, daggone it, they said something else.
It gets you riled up. Like I didn't direct my anger toward anybody else, but I could tell like I'd be upset and frustrated with Susie, who I ain't never met, ain't never meet.
Ain't never met her before in your life.
No, don't know her from Adam. She don't know me from Eve. So it's like, why am I, you know, getting all riled up about this person who has said something? Granted, what they have said was, you know, negative and gross, but like, why am I allowing it to make me upset in my home? Like, and to be like that, worried about what's the clapback? What's my response going to be? It's like putting me on edge in a conversation, in a virtual conversation.
Right. Where no minds were changed. Everybody just went more to their sides because the insults happened. And so I'm thinking about the time when somebody called you light bright. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. This is one where I had made a comment and then that woman came back. She called me racist and you light bright. And I was like, okay, lady.
Oh.
Helen, whatever her name was. Or no, Karen.
It was a Karen. And then, of course, she comes back with I'm not racist. I've got Black children in my family, and those poor Black children.
Right.
But yeah, that's another thing too. I think I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But some of this calling out versus calling in. This is why I don't mind the calling out, because I think some people feel like because I have XYZ. I think even Pence said this in the debate earlier this week with Kamala. President Trump has Jewish grandchildren. Of course he loves Jewish people.
Yes, he did say that.
No. Having these things in your family or having friends of a different race or any of that, none of that takes away your implicit bias or removes your ability to be racist. None of that. At all.
And it's amazing the things that we say to each other, say to ourselves, you know, like, oh, you know, I've had white people say, oh, well, you're not like them. So sometimes that happens when you take people who identify a certain way and in their minds, they take them and they separate them out to make them more acceptable than the rest of the group.
The good ones versus the bad
Exactly.
ones.
And it's like, no, that doesn't work that way. That's
man, you're one of the good ones. Whoa.
Right.
Whoa,
you're a credit to your race.
Whoa.
Well, thank you.
No. I mean, all right. No. I wish they were more like you.
Wow.
Gosh, man. Wow. And folks, these are things that we've all heard from white people. So we're not making this up. Like, it's funny, but it's not.
No.
Yeah.
But my question is, what should we do? Because I agree that the calling out is, I don't know if I say it's necessary, but I mean, if you're going to do it, like what's too far? Because I have a really, really good friend who I love dearly, and this person will go. I mean, they won't stop. They'll go for hours with fact checking percentages and data. I'm like, go to bed, stop. No. But they can't. And I mean, the next day I would see them and they'd be all tired and just upset. I'm like, you can't, that's too far.
Yeah.
For me.
So what's too far?
I guess for me, if I'm making an argument or a point and the individual just keeps coming back with the same tired cliche type deals, I've gotten to a point now where I'm still saying blah, 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 but then I'm just like, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree and then just leaving it at that and then just exiting stage left because you're not going to change that person's mind. They're not going to see it from your point of view. They've proven that by just continuing to regurgitate their other type of logic. And so, they're not going to change.
And I think for me, it's what Brandon said. Like if you're running into a wall with the person and you're just not getting through, then it's when it's time to just like agree to disagree. This ain't going to be changed tonight. Good day. That's my favorite. God bless and good day. And I'll leave people alone. But the other one is like proximity. So I feel like people who are actual friends on my timeline, like I actually know you, I don't mind continuing to discuss with you because I feel like that's a thing. And again, I feel like also if Simone tells me, if I'm doing something to Simone and it's hurting her, but she never tells me, then am I never going to change my behavior? So I feel like if you're a friend on my timeline and we're talking and we're cool and what you're saying is hurtful, then I should be able to express that to you. Now, whether you decide to change that behavior or not is up to you. But I feel like you should go a greater distance for people you actually know. But more so for the people who are acquaintances, who are strangers, I'll give them you get like 2 or 3 comments and then I'm done. Because if you're not changing your mind, it's going to be God bless, good day, agree to disagree. You got it. You got it, Chief. Whatever you want. Move on.
Right, exactly. So it sounds like we're saying know when to stop, know when to walk away, speak your piece. And if nothing is getting through, then it's okay to just let it go. Yeah. I think it's also helpful to realize that you don't have to respond right away. I know the conversation is unfolding very quickly, but if you need time to think about your answer or your response to be considerate so that you're not, throwing anything out there, it's okay to think about it for a second and then come back. You can always reply right up underneath people's comments. No matter how far it's gone, you can always go back.
True.
That touched me in a special place. It's also okay, which I'm learning, it's okay to not respond. Again, especially to the people who are not on your friends list. Like definitely, strangers to you, like that you don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's okay to overlook their overtly racist or, bad remarks, but I think to some extent you have to realize this is, what's that story about pick and choose your battles?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Not the place you're gonna win it. So you might as well just back out of the comment, back out of the story, you know, preserve your peace and go somewhere else. That's been a hard lesson for me to learn, because I think that's part of my problem is, you know, I have this kind of heal the world mentality, and I got to jump in there and I got to save it. And, you know, I want it to be good, but everybody's just not like that. And what I'm finding, there used to be so few people to say racist things to you on Facebook or any place online. It was just far and few between. You get one random person to be like, well, blah, blah, and Confederate flag, this and that. And now it's just like
all over
a whole slew of them.
So it becomes like the army of those folks are more overwhelming than the people saying no, like this is wrong. Yeah. It just comes to me. It's like roaches; they just keep coming out. Like, how you gonna get them all?
You can't get them all. Right. And I think too, it's important to this can go both ways. So if you're having an online debate, I wonder how, like, don't put your spouse or your mate into it. Like, once you get off, you don't have to go and explain the whole story to your friend, you know, because you're just regurgitating it all again. And then you might get them wound up. And so I just don't know if that's helpful.
Who is that helping?
Nobody.
I don't know.
Nobody.
Also saying, like, I don't want to hear that. If they've been no, because I call my husband, and my husband does not do the back and forth, but I call him the BBN, the bearer of bad news, because if there is any bad news online, he is going to come and tell me at 10 o'clock when I'm trying to sleep. And I have to be like, Sean, no, don't want to hear that.
Like, baby, I just had a good day. Don't. I was chilling. I was on my way to sleep, and now my blood pressure done doubled.
Is up. My pressure's up.
And see, Joel is more like Brandon. He has the time to debate all things. Anything.
Joel does.
Joel has time.
Music, bands, religious stuff, and then he'll be talking to me about. I'm like, I don't want to. Especially the religious arguments, because they get on my nerves. Like, especially the groups he's in with evangelical Christians. Who we talked about last week are probably Trump supporters. So there's a whole element of how can you be Christian and be a Trump supporter at the same time. And, you know, he's like, look how dumb this sounds. And blah, I'm like, Joel, no, I can't. I just can't. I can't.
I don't know how he does it.
Folks, I don't know how you do it. And I think he has the same approach as Brandon. It's like, I'm trying to give you facts. I'm trying to hit you back with this information. I'm trying to educate you. But, you know, just come across some people who just don't want to learn. They just want to say their piece. And I wonder how many of y'all, like, there's this whole thing about going viral now.
Yeah.
People are just doing this just so they can go viral.
Yep, I believe so. I believe it. I believe because what is it? Bad publicity is still good publicity. And going viral can get you places. What, you know, if you're someone who is a staunch conservative and you go viral, you may end up with a talk show. You may end up, you know, with all types of visits to such and such place. I mean, there's some validity to that. And so I feel like in this viral culture, people want to say the extremes from both ends.
Going viral can also get you canceled.
It really can. It get you fired. All kind of stuff. Cancel culture is real. No. No. That never even occurs to me. Nope. Like, even with these corona times, like, I would love for us to go viral or a show to, like, blow up or whatever, but I never think about it. That's never the goal. It's just we're on here doing something that we enjoy.
Yep.
So I never think about that. Same thing with if I post something online or share something, it's just because I enjoy that thing or I believe in that thing.
Yeah. I think now there's, like, something to be said for folks who kind of follow in this path of I did or said something online. I think about the young man. I don't know if y'all remember this story about the kids that was on a trip and there were some Indians out at this event.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the guy
that kid from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but he ended up getting a lot of money. Like, whatever.
A lot of money.
because some people, national stories carried that story. I mean, national news stations carried that story.
Yeah.
And I think painted him as the aggressor in it or whatever. So he ended up getting a lot of money for going viral. So I think people see it as like going, you can get something out of, like Brandon said, the talk shows or, the money or the book or whatever. They don't see like the negative connotations that come along with that.
I'm so upset you brought that up. Now that's got my spirit disturbed. I hated that story. I hated the video. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. He was up in that man. They were.
I say he wasn't necessarily an instigator, but he sure wasn't innocent.
He didn't back up.
He didn't back up, and that is so disrespectful. That just shows how old I am. It's funny because we have conservative parts, and then we also have more progressive liberal parts, and I'm just not for getting up in the face of the elders. I'm not here for it.
No. And it's kind of like when I was saying earlier, like if you go out, with a Trump hat on or a Black Lives Matter mask on, like, I won't say you deserve confrontation, but you should expect that somebody's going to disagree with what
type of way.
Yep.
Feel some type of way about it. So you kind of almost have to it's almost like if you can wear like faith shirts or whatever, you have to kind of just be ready for somebody to be like, nah, no, it ain't, I don't like that, just because people are going to say stuff. So you have to kind of be prepared to defend yourself in some ways, again, not saying you deserve any kind of backlash or whatever, but, you're going to have to interact with somebody.
So we haven't really talked about the calling in too much. So the way that I've heard it described is, of course, the calling out is having whatever your comment is be, put out there, and maybe an argument will ensue. The calling in is when you take it offline, or maybe you do a direct message, or maybe call the person, which is what I'm more likely to do. What do y'all think about that?
I don't do it, but
I'm doing that. I was, again, pre-COVID debates or pre the racism pandemic debate, I would talk to people. Like, if we didn't, people I was close enough to, I actually knew, if we disagreed online after several back and forth, I don't mind getting on the phone and talking to people about it, or even just taking it to another area, like a private message or whatever, just to have a conversation. I'm not against that. Now will I don't know. Not so much.
I certainly don't do it with people I don't know. Like, if somebody says something strange, of course, and I don't know them, I don't care. But if it's somebody that I really am close to, then there are certain things I can't say online that I would say to them individually. Like, and I guess what I'm talking about is speaking from my heart, like what you said really hurt me. I don't think I would say that online. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like that's where people do that.
No,
they talk like that.
You're making it more personal.
Right. And so I want to mend the relationship, or like get to the bottom of whatever that was. So for me, that just works better, because I feel like there's more chance of a reconciliation, or at least an understanding, even if we don't agree.
Yeah. So we've talked about like levels, like people being your friend or your online friend or whatnot. What about when these folks are like your coworkers or your church members or how do you deal with that? Like, we're all kind of friends online, but that doesn't always mean you're friends in person, but these are still people that you have to kind of interact with. Do you call those people out, or do you call them in? I'm asking the doctor.
I don't know. I mean, if you have to deal with them on a regular basis, I would not argue with them online. I just wouldn't do that, because I could see that not going well for you during your work day. And you don't want your workspace or your social space messed up. You really don't want that. So, I mean, my recommendation would be to not do that.
Yeah, for me, I have a way of not being aggressive when it comes to online stuff. And it's just like, I don't curse at people. I don't call names. For me, I try to stick to the facts as much as possible, and maybe interject a little bit of feelings, and then, just call it a day. So that way, at the very least, where I stand, but I wasn't disrespectful to you.
That's true, Brandon. You do that. You are very facts-based when you write things. And And I've seen you, like, if a person makes a good point, even if you all are debating different sides, you'll give them that. Like, I see what you're saying there. So I think that makes a lot of sense because you're not all emotional with it. You're just giving them the facts and then also letting it be known, like, oh, yeah, what you're saying makes sense. And this other thing.
Right. And for me, that's kind of how I try to, because I don't mind a good, healthy debate in person at all. I don't mind that. I don't mind talking you down in person, but I got to admit, I don't have all the answers. And for me, I think for a lot of individuals believe they have the patent on truth and what they feel is 100% right. And it's just like, you have to have space to understand that you may not be right about a certain topic. Even if you feel strongly about it, you may not be right. And I've learned early on from being wrong enough times that I have to give that space.
Perception is reality, and our perception is our reality. And I think people don't know what they don't know. And I think it takes a lot of maturity to realize that this is how I feel about it, and I feel very strongly, but someone else feels just as strongly in the opposite way. And that's okay. I mean, it's okay most of the time. If you are debating whether Black Lives Matter, I really can't get down with you like that. But that's fine, but just stay over there.
Right. We can disagree on how good the weather is. We can't disagree on racism.
You know what else we can't disagree on? And I don't want to go back to the mask situation, but this idea that people should just decide what's best for them with the mask, because I'm not going to allow you to decide, like, use your best judgment for me.
Right.
Like, no. I don't. And that's a big thing online that people debate, whether or not it's, I saw some other day say, I just think the mask thing is stupid. I was like, how, friend?
It's because we selfish, man. We selfish.
Yeah. And the way our governor puts it here, I'm not wearing the mask for myself, which I like that he says that, it's a daily reminder. You're wearing the mask for somebody else to protect other people. I love that campaign that they did about why I wear my mask. And it's like, I wear it for, the grandmother. I wear it for the healthcare workers. I wear it so we don't create more exposure. I mean, if you leave it up to me, because I've done it. I mean, even knowing what I know, sometimes I'll be like, oh God, I want to take my mask off so bad. It's just like, it's hot. It's not always comfortable. But if we leave it up to people, no, nobody likes it. We're not going to do the right thing. I mean, if we did, numbers wouldn't be going up across the country.
But it just shows what individualistic, culture we live in. People just want to do what's best for them.
Yeah, sadly, we're very selfish. It's all about me.
It's all about me, how it affects me. It's like, no, super spreader, no. No.
Rose Garden Massacre.
No, put the mask on, please, no.
So are there new habits that y'all want to practice this week for the call outers? I'm not a call outer, but any new...
I'm scrolling.
You got to do it for the call inner, though, if we answer for the call outer.
What'd you say?
I said you got to answer for the call inners if we do a call outer. Go ahead, Brandon.
I'm gonna try to keep my comments as small as possible. Ain't no going back and forth and having a long line. I'm gonna see what you got to say. I'm gonna say what I got to say. All right, cool. I see where you at, and then leave it at that. That's it now, man. We ain't changing nobody's minds about nothing, for real.
Scroll on by.
Scroll on by.
My new thing is just scroll on by. Also, when I do watch stuff or go to any live broadcast or a station or whatever, I turn the comments off so I don't have to read them as they're coming in, because that can be pretty harsh as well. And then also, I just kind of been off Facebook. I've been going to another platform where it's not as argumentative. Instagram is nice. It's just pictures and likes and comments, and so is Twitter. It's more like interactive. It's not so much arguing. Facebook is where people go to fight. So I just try to stay off of there as much as possible.
I'm with you on that.
I think for me, we didn't really talk about this too much, but I think it's important to have a good balance. So if you're spending a lot of time, reading things that get you riled up, also spend just as much time reading things about topics that make you feel good. things that you value. You know what I mean? Like spend time commenting on that as well. So I think I want to do more of that. And I also have been really busy, so I haven't been you know, scrolling as much. But I haven't had a good call-in a while. Not about some of the stuff we've talked about, but absolutely, I think I'll continue that because my heart can't take the other stuff. It's too spicy. It's too spicy for me. And I love a good face-to-face debate. I do. I love the talk.
I don't. I'd rather text debate you.
So are y'all ready to talk about self-care, or is there other pieces of this conversation that y'all want to hit on?
Oh yeah, we probably need to touch self-care. It's well past 9 now. Yeah.
Oh, Brandon, you're just trying to watch the game. Don't do us. Look.
We know.
Why must I attempt to watch the game when? Nah.
Before we do the self-care though, maybe our closing thought. I've heard it a few times said between the three of us. Bottom line is when you're debating people, protect your peace, whatever that means for you. If that means you're calling people in or you're stepping away from it, or you are calling people out, you know, protect your peace and try to give yourself the space to have your thoughts and interact with other people. But guess what? You're not always right. They're not always right. Sometimes it's best to just walk away and just agree to disagree. You know?
And sometimes, you know, it may seem like a drastic step for some, but you may need to take a step all the way back. You may need to delete that app off your phone for a couple weeks just to kind of let things die down. And because if you're obsessive with it and always checking, you might want to deactivate your account for a few weeks just to kind of get you some time to kind of just. And look, you know, I've done it. Not deactivated, but I've just not been on for a couple of weeks. It's been a while since I've done that, but you know, you feel better and you know, all those things, you get a little bit more clear, and every once in a while, man, it's good to do a social media detox.
That's the truth.
Absolutely.
So now you want self-care?
So what do you all want to do for what do y'all want to do for you all self-care? Any thoughts?
Hey, I'm back. I'm back on the reading. I'm doing a deeper dive into more theological things. That's actually been fairly fun for me, to be honest with you. And it's just, while I'm doing notes, I'll listen to some debate on since we're talking about that, I'll listen to, some debate on YouTube, or I'll listen to a lecture or something like that. And that's been actually pretty cool.
All right. So I'm going to do a Simone from several episodes back, and I'm not going to do a self-care this week. So there. I'm going to, still essentially take care of myself, but I'm not going to set a specific goal. I don't know, just a lot of things going on right now. This is a busy month. I'm just going to try to be productive. Did I set a self-care goal without setting one? I think I did.
I think you did. You're a goal-oriented individual.
I'm not going to do self-care this week, but I'm going to do this for my self-care. Yeah.
You can use the week to notice maybe what you need to do. Like, I think I like to do, I think for me, I'm going to keep reading because that book is really good. And I am going to try to that's a lie. I'm still going to work a lot. But I will say, I'm just going to try to cut it. I'm not going to be in the office as late. Because I go to my office for self-care, which I share with y'all, but sometimes I'll be going a little overboard. And so
it's nice there.
It is nice. It is nice, but I can get buried. So I'm not going to do that. But this has been a really good conversation. I hope everybody really, maybe sees themselves in the discussion that we've talked about and will heed some of the suggestions that we've made, because at the end of the day, it's really not worth it to get all riled up and to, be offline, but have it not be off of your brain, not be able to and be like attentive to your family and to your loved ones. So.
Yep. Again, protecting your peace. And sometimes that means turning it off, putting it down, walking away. I like what Brandon said. Although I don't know if I'm capable of that, but deactivating your Facebook or just taking a break from social media for a while can't hurt, because again, this stuff is going to be here. It's not going anywhere. We got like 20 something days till election. It's going to be here. The pandemic's going to be here. Racism is still here. Going to be here, so you got time to get back to it if that's really what you want to engage in.
I think another piece of my self-care is going to be to get these ballots turned in. We are driving to the Board of Elections or whatever it is. We dropping. We're not doing the mail service. Can't do it.
Here, sir, ma'am. Take
right
this.
Here it is, right here. Do you need me to write anything down? You need me to check anything off?
Yeah.
So that will feel very good to get that done.
And I believe this voting in person for us start this week, Brandon.
Yes, I'm going next weekend to go because it's Monday through Saturday. 8:30 or 4:30, I believe. Yeah.
So I know my family's gonna try to hit that up this week too. Those of us who haven't done mail-in and are going in person, gonna try to hit that up as a family unit and go vote as well.
So all of y'all out there that are watching, please do the same. Get ready to vote. Get prepared. Learn what you need to do that. As we say every week, make sure you check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, that you like, share, and subscribe on not Facebook, but YouTube. YouTube, yes. And keep telling us what y'all want to hear. This is inside joke.
We want to hear for suggestions.
Yes, we want to know what y'all want to hear.
Yeah. So, until we're together next time, I wish I could tell you what's happening next week, but I think that may be postponed. So just join us next week. We're going to be talking about something,
Mystery.
Yeah, it's going to be a mystery to us and to you. So, but until we come back together again, Simone already put a good emphasis on it, but make sure you vote in these Corona times. Get that vote in, however you're going to do it. Make sure you get it done.
Wear your mask.
Yep.
Stay away from people.
Away from them. Yes.
Just back up.
Wash your hands. Don't forget that.
Wash your hands.
Please.
Yeah,
what?
No, go ahead.
There was an article out that I think from the CDC was saying that white men don't be washing their hands between 18 and 24. They don't wash they still not washing their hands.
I believe you.
So if you fall in that category, please,
wash
white men, wash your hands.
There's also a study about people who don't wash their legs and feet in the shower, but we'll talk about that later. Another episode later.
They think the water's just coming down? Is that what it is?
It's going to wash it. It's going to wash it. The soap residue from the top will wash the bottom.
The soap is going to just come on down. Gravity.
No.
See, guys, we got to go. This is
Yes, this is too much.
But while we're laughing, you know what's not funny? That there's no justice for Breonna Taylor. So make sure.
That's not funny at all.
It's still justice for Breonna Taylor in these Corona times. But until next time, guys, you know it. We remain
yours.
Yes, we ain't going nowhere. Good night, y'all.